Hello everyone and welcome. Iceberg videos. You know them, I know them, we all love them. They're super trendy and all the cool kids are doing them. That's why I wanted to dive into the Shrek iceberg. Because I guess you could say it has layers. If you don't know how these work, it's a meme template with random facts starting from the well-known on the surface all the way down into the abyss of the unknown with more bizarre facts, rumors, conspiracies, and just made-up things the deeper you go. I'll be using the iceberg made by Material Database on Reddit, and I want to apologize for the poor quality in some of the text. Even they acknowledged some of the issues with it. I'll also be using the onion system to show my confidence in the topic, 5 onions being I know what I'm talking about, and 1 onion being I have no idea. If there are any topics I get wrong or don't know, by all means, please let me know. But with that being said, this is the Shrek iceberg. The fate of Mama Bear. The 3 bears from the tales of Goldilocks can be seen during the selling of fairy tale creatures at the start of Shrek 1. And later when all the creatures arrive at Shrek's swamp, you can see Papa Bear and Baby Bear with noticeably absent Mama Bear. It's then revealed later that Lord Farquaad had Mama Bear killed and turned into a rug for his bedroom. Which is kind of fucked for a kids movie. What do I know? What dragon became when Donkey drank the potion. It's no secret in Shrek 2, Donkey and Shrek drank a potion that makes them and their lovers conventionally beautiful, but people always wondered. Shrek and Fiona became humans. Donkey became a handsome stallion. But what dragon turned into? Well, according to the Shrek fandom wiki, dragon transformed into a talking Pegasus, the perfect match for Donkey's transformation into that handsome stallion. If only we got to see it. Swamp Simulator. Swamp Simulator is a parody of the classic indie game Slender. You know, that one.
What the hell is this?
Where you have to find onions around Shrek's swamp while he hunts you, ever approaching, to give you his love. Shrek is love. Shrek is life. It's the classic meme that, as far as I'm aware, started the cult of Shrek that exists online, originating as a 4chan post and then evolving into this.
I'm so happy. He whispers in my ear, "This is my swamp." He grabs me with his powerful ogre hands and puts me on my hands and knees. I'm ready.
But hey, we got some really top tier memes from it, so I'd say it was worth it. And that was just the top layer. It's only going to get darker from here, folks. Donkey comes from the story of Pinocchio. He was a real boy. My guess is this idea comes from the Disney classic Pinocchio, where he's taken a pleasure island that is actually a trap and turns bad kids into donkeys. So the idea being that Donkey was one of these poor kids, which would be believable, but Donkey was actually in the original Shrek book, which I'll get into later, so this one's completely made up. It's not real. Lord Farquaad is the son of the 7 dwarves. This is just a little tidbit revealed in the Shrek the Musical, where Farquaad's past is revealed during the musical number The Ballad of Farquaad. His mother is revealed to be the princess from The Princess and the Pea, and his father is Grumpy from Snow White, which I never knew. I think that's pretty neat. It explains why he's so short. Look at the little guy. Rumpelstiltskin from Shrek 4 is different from Shrek 3. It's just a difference in character design for the 2 movies, as he's just a background character in Shrek 3, and they kind of made him the main antagonist in Shrek 4, so they goofed him up a little bit. Made him a little more cartoony and villainesque, if you will. Prince Charming was created by the fairy godmother. The title says it all. It's the idea that fairy godmother created Charming with magic. I couldn't find anything on this, so I don't know where this theory came from or what evidence there is to support it, unfortunately. But the idea is he just has no dad. He's a pure magic baby. Shrek was to be played by Chris Farley. Back when Shrek was in early development during the 90s, Chris Farley, who was famous for his time on Saturday Night Live and movies like Tommy Boy and Black Sheep, was casted for the voice of Shrek, even recording a lot of his lines with most of the movie being complete. And many people, including the director, saying Chris gave the movie a completely different tone. But unfortunately, in December of 97, Chris passed from a drug overdose before the filming was complete. Gooseboost actually has a video going way more in depth with this on Chris's involvement with Shrek, so I'll link their video if you're interested, because Goose definitely needs a shout out from me. All of the plot holes. Essentially, there's a lot of plot holes in the Shrek cinematic universe, which, hey, not everything can be perfect. A quick Google search will show you several articles listing these, from the kind of big ones like Gingy regrowing his legs, and Donkey missing a kid at one point, to small nitpicks like Farquaad setting Shrek to get Fiona not making sense, and how did Fiona just know Kung Fu because, she was just so busy in all those years she was trapped in the tower. Fiona is the daughter of the fairy godmother. Honestly, the only thing I could find of this was a DeviantArt OC that had absolutely nothing to do with Shrek. And even then, the idea doesn't make sense that the fairy godmother would want her kids to marry each other. I don't know, I didn't know Shrek was set in the Game of Thrones universe. Fairy godmother is in Shrek 1. Dama Fortuna. These two are essentially the same thing, so I'll just roll them into one. This just comes from the fact that in the original draft of the Shrek script, the fairy godmother was a fortune teller named Dama Fortuna who would have narrated Fiona's past through tarot cards. Fortuna gives her a beauty potion, which would cause the curse of her turning into an ogre at night. Which, if I'm not mistaken, that is more closely related to the book. Shrek 2 is censored in the UK. I've never been to the UK. We're seeing Shrek 2 there. But apparently in the UK release of the Shrek 2 DVD, they edited the scene where Princess Fiona was attacking Prince Charming. In the original scene, she gives him a headbutt, while in the British version, he gets karate chopped, which is really just kind of an odd and small thing to change. I don't know why. The original Shrek book. Yes, Shrek is actually based on a book that was released in 1990. I actually read it in second grade, and from what I remember, the first movie loosely follows the same plot. Shrek is a loner sent on a quest to save Fiona. He meets Donkey, I don't remember how, and the story ends with a happy ending of Shrek and Fiona falling in love. It was also considered a anti-fairy tale. It got a lot of praise when it was released. I'm sure you could find it somewhere on Amazon. Obscure merchandise. Put simply, Shrek has a lot of weird merch for sale, which I assume most is bootleg, but it does include a coffee mug with the entire script of the first film, Gingy bath bombs, a Nick Cage Shrek hybrid pillow. I'd buy that. And these two things, just gonna put those on the wish list. Either way, a lot of what I found really just played into Shrek's meme status. Why Puss in Boots became a sidekick. I honestly couldn't find anything on this. If anyone knows, could you please tell me? Duloc was abandoned. I'm guessing this has to do with a Halloween special Scared Shrekless? Clever play on words there. Where the entire city of Duloc, Farquaad's kingdom, is revealed to have been abandoned after he died. It's depicted as dark and creepy little ghost town. All the fields of vegetation are just dead, and it's unknown where Duloc's inhabitants went after the abandonment. Overall, the appearance of Duloc may have been altered just to, make it a little more frightening for that Halloween special. But I'm sure there's a creepypasta about it somewhere. I couldn't find it, though. The Shrek 5 script. There's been a lot of speculations about Shrek 5's script, from the supposed leaks to the plot details. But the most interesting thing I could find on it was a fan script for Shrek 5, Death of an Ogre, which was pretty funny, solid 10 out of 10 read. Layerless ogres. It's most likely about the one-dimensional ogres shown in Shrek 4, as they don't have the same life or struggle as Shrek's. And they aren't the star of the show. I really wasn't 100% sure, though. I'll be honest on that. The Gospel of Shrek is a 3-chapter gospel written to praise Shrek as the elder god he is. Please allow me to read a passage from you. Chapter 0, Introduction. In the beginning, there was a word, and that word was onion. But the word was with the donkey. The word was also within a swamp. Enter Shrek, the ogre of legends, to receive and channel the word the donkey gave him. The word also appeared to be omnipotent. Shrek is omnipotent. Shrek created the world in 5 days without any rest, but paradoxically, without any sleep. He traversed his land to reclaim the world, for the world is a swamp, and the swamp was his. No, the swamp is his. And that was just the introduction to it. It is quite the trip. I encourage you to read it. It'll be linked down below. Holy Ogre Lord. It's a term used by the Shrek fan base to show that Shrek is the one true Messiah. All be he the man with the layers of onions. Now we're getting into the weird things. Mama Bear is still alive, according to Shrek Karaoke Dance Party. Karaoke Dance Party was a 3-minute short for the first Shrek, showing all the characters singing different songs at Shrek and Fiona's wedding. And in the background, you can just see ever so slightly Mama Bear, as Shrek raised her from the dead with his god powers. Because we all know in that same film, she was shown to be nothing more than a carpet on Farquaad's floor. Shrek made up his name when he met Donkey. It's the idea that Shrek didn't have a name prior to meeting Donkey, short and sweet, since he'd always been alone, and it can be easily seen that he just didn't call himself anything, and he thought of the first thing that came to mind and said, yeah, that's it. It's really nice because when you go back and rewatch it, you can tell he's not really sure that's a real name or not. Thankfully, Donkey just kind of rolls with it.
I like you. What's your name?
Shrek.
Prince Charming is still alive and appears in the Thriller Night short. Thriller Night, it's another Shrek Halloween special. It parodies Michael Jackson's Thriller music video. And as the dead rise in the graveyard, Prince Charming is seen among the others. So technically, he's alive if you call that living. But then again, I don't exactly remember Charming ever dying. Maybe I'm forgetting something. Doris is trans, was a man before the fairy godmother made him a woman. I'm sure you all remember Doris, the man dressed in drag who worked as a bartender in Shrek 2 and then later became part of Fiona's group of badass warrior princesses that saved Far, Far Away. Well, the theory simply states Doris is a pre-op trans, which would explain her masculine features. But to be honest, all I could find on this were old articles getting upset about Doris and Shrek's gay agenda. Shrek 5 release date. Back in 2016, DreamWorks announced Shrek 5 was in production and is set to release sometime in 2022. But while doing research for an earlier topic, I found a lot of articles saying Illumination, the guys that made Sing and Minions, were making Shrek and Puss in Boots movies. So I don't know, honestly. It could be a partner thing. Illumination might have gotten the rights, which I highly doubt. Only time will tell. The director's cut. It's just a shitty lost episode creepypasta with hyper-realistic blood and characters dying. Because Edge. I Feel Good animation test. The I Feel Good animation test is a partially lost animation test from the early production of the first Shrek movie, showing a much creepier, borderline nightmare-fueled design for Shrek. While what is found is just stills from the movie's engine, you can see what has been found on YouTube, and it is kind of interesting looking. Shrek predicted 9/11. I couldn't find anything on this either, unfortunately. If anyone knows this theory, please let me know. And now we get to the good stuff, as there's only one event in the abyss. The Shrekening. The Shrekening will be the darkest point in human history, as the elder god Shrek will come to this world and judge all for their layers, and only those deemed worthy by the Ogre Lord will be granted nirvana into the holy swamp. All others will be tormented in 10,000 years of darkness, being forced to watch shark tales and eat nothing but microwaved pretzels. It will be the truest of end times. So repent. Repent while you can. Embrace the Lord Shrek, for he is love, and he is life. Repent, I say. The time is nigh. Or it may just be Implement's YouTube poop. And that was the Shrek iceberg. It was a lot of fun to research. I hope you had a lot of fun watching. Consider checking out some of my other stuff, because they're a thing. Okay, bye-bye. Love ya.